Kicked out my pregnant cheating girlfriend. A bit about us. We're both in our 30s and have just moved to a whole new city across the country a few months ago, as I had been offered a much better paying job in an area that has generally lower living costs, as well as it being a nice area to raise a child. She is currently 7 months pregnant with what I thought to be my child. I was initially shocked since we always used protection or I pulled out, but after having some time to think about it I was ecstatic. It was the perfect time in our lives for kids. I just finished the last payments on my flat, low interest mortgages and first time buyer benefits FTW, as well as being a strong contender for the job I currently have. Anyway, recently she has been very distant and reserved. I just chalked that up to pregnancy hormones, but during breakfast she seemed even more distant and quiet than usual, so I asked her what was up a few times until she yelled that she doesn't always have to answer me and walked away. Right, whatever. I was late for work, so I went on my way. I got a message around lunchtime asking me if I could leave the lab early because there was something very important she wanted to talk about and didn't want to do it after I got home after a long day. So I finished up my work and okayed it with my boss and went home, picking up some subs for us on the way. To cut a long story short and beating around the bush short, she told me that while I was working Hell Week at the lab she met a guy during a night out with some work friends, and one thing led to another and they ended up sleeping together. This carried on for a week or two supposedly because I was always working and not spending enough time with her. I worked 14-hour days during that time and just wanted to come home and sit. She mentioned how he lied about using a wrapper by saying he was using ultra-thin ones and didn't realize what he did until she felt it. The time of this fits in with when she was up the duff. I can't describe how angry I felt after she told me. I got up and threw her sub into the bin and left the house to go for a drive to a friend's so I could calm down. I returned home the next morning and demanded we book an appointment for a prenatal paternity test, which she was initially very much against but eventually gave in and agreed. I booked an appointment that morning for the following week and I stayed with my mate until the day. I took the afternoon off work and drove us there in silence, aside from her crying and apologizing, got the procedure over with and dropped her back and went back to my mates until results day. Well, we got the results back today and guess what? It turns out I am not the father of that little sprog. I drove us home and demanded she get out and start packing because I wanted her out before I got back from work / picking my stuff up from my friends. She was hysterical and saying how I couldn't just leave her alone and homeless while she was so close to the due date and so far away from home, and that she really loved me and wanted me to raise this bastard child with her because it's the only way it'll have a decent life. She's an arts graduate and was working a minimum wage job before the move / pregnancy. I never made it into work. I drove into a field, rang my boss to tell him what happened, and he told me to take as much time as I needed and he'd have a PhD student cover my work. I stayed there for hours just laying in the seat and cried at how everything has fallen apart. I had just gotten my life in order, everything was stable and ready to go for the baby. We even finished designing the baby's room. I switched my phone back on and saw I had several missed calls and voicemails, a few from her, some from her family and a couple from my mate telling me to come to his as soon as I could. I rung my mate up, filled him in and went over to his. And that's what's happened so far. I haven't gone back to house yet. I just can't bring myself to go back there knowing that all the plans I had for it are dead. I have no idea what to do anymore. What should I do, Reddit? I apologize in advance if my rambling wall of text is difficult to read. I just wanted to get it all out and have been typing on my tablet. Too long, didn't read. Girlfriend cheated on me and lied about it being my baby, so I threw her sandwich in the bin and kicked her out. Quick update: I'm so sorry for the late reply, but I've been sorting things out with a solicitor and her family. I took the advice and after calming down bought her a one-way coach ticket back home. Trains don't go to Horseville. The morning after this went down I went to the house with my friend with me and she was still there, which I expected. She immediately waddled over and started hugging me and crying, begging not to end our relationship. I stayed with my initial feelings of wanting her to get the hell out of here, I gave her the piece of paper with the coach ticket and then told her to gather her stuff so I can drop her off at the coach station. After much more crying she packed her suitcase and I loaded it into the car and drove us. Friend was with us all throughout as a witness because you can never be too careful, to the coach stand. After getting her out of the car with even more crying and sitting her down in the waiting room, she calmed down a bit because there were people around, but she asked me what she's meant to do now as a jobless, homeless single mother. My response was, "Duck you Jenny, go to Zach. It's his problem now." Just kidding. I told her that she should try find the father, wished her the best and left. I had a few calls from her family asking me if I was out of my ducking mind and etc., but I've had my phone off since then and I'm just trying to move forward. I might make a proper update on the weekend and turn my phone back on. But for the time being I'm trying to focus in work to catch up on everything. Thank you all so much for your support. This truly is an amazing community and I didn't expect this to blow up like it has.
Hey guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. It would really help me out, thanks.
If your girlfriend is smart or gets advice from someone who is, she can legally contest you throwing her out if she's lived in your home for any length of time. Be prepared to talk to a lawyer. In fact, you may want to contact one just in case. You did well. Don't cave in. This child is not yours. Don't sign a birth certificate or have your name associated with it. Dump the cheating witch and kick her butt out. She can live with her family. Do not falter on this. Let her find the real father and put him on the birth certificate. He can be the dad and take care of her. Cheats on you, lets you think it's your baby and confesses when you've already gotten attached and planning a future. Yeah, that witch doesn't deserve no goddamn sub. At least she eventually came clean, but duck man. Good luck dealing with this one. Friend, 19F, keeps mentioning I, 19M, am likely to cheat. She said it around my GF, 23F, I got angry and now I'm worried about what's on GF's mind. I've been friends with this girl for about 2 years. I can tell she likes me but I don't feel the same way. Maybe that's what's been fueling her recent behavior but I'm not sure. It started when we were hanging out after a lecture and she said from nowhere, "I feel sorry for whoever's going to marry you," and when I asked why she said, "It's literally written over your face." I don't want to brag but I'm good looking to the point where girls, and guys sometimes, constantly stare and flirt and get nervous around me. I laughed and she said, "It'll get worse as you get older because you'll have money too and I can't see you being faithful at all." I brushed this off but over the next 2 weeks she kept bringing it up when we were with our friend group. Oh, I don't think OP is into monogamy when we were all discussing marriage and laters, and OP could have 6 girlfriends and 6 side chicks if he really wanted when discussing how one of our friends was having trouble picking up girls. I didn't say anything since she's goofy and seemed to be playing around but I was getting a bit annoyed. So yesterday my GF friend and I were hanging at my place and I cooked and it was terrible and we were making fun of me when I sensed the direction friend was taking the conversation and I tried to shut her up. She was saying to my GF, "If you ever get married, this'll be the least of your problems because OP is very likely to CH." I made a noise to quieten her but GF had heard and laughed but seemed confused too. It looked bad because it seemed like I discussed cheating with my friends or that I've already cheated on her. Things just seemed a little awkward. Friend sensed that she'd maybe ducked up and left not long after. GF left at almost the same time saying she had to go to her parents to get something, and when I asked if I could accompany her she said she really had to rush and she left. I confronted my friend over phone and I kinda lost my temper. Nothing over the top but something I still shouldn't have done. She started crying and I feel bad. How do I apologize to her? And although my GF is talking to me, something's obviously off. She hasn't kissed me today and is avoiding eye contact. How do I carefully bring this up with her and not duck up? TL, didn't read. Friend constantly brings up how I'm likely to cheat and it's messed things up. Sounds like she's bitter and jealous that you have a girlfriend. She's trying to stir the pot. I'd cut her off. She's no friend to your relationship. Wait, what? Are you seriously trying to apologize for losing your temper on this girl after the things she said? You have to just bring up to your girlfriend what's been going on and be upfront. Honestly, what probably looks worse is that you shushed your friend. I don't understand why you didn't lose it on your friend in front of your girlfriend and clear everything up right then and there. Me, 37M, with my wife, 34F, 11 years, don't know if I should tell her my coworker tried to seduce me. Never been in a situation like this before. I'm married to a very beautiful woman and I still love her like crazy after all these years. We have 3 kids with another on the way, it's a girl by the way, and I have no intentions of cheating or abandoning them ever. I work with a woman, 32F, and she is attractive but I've considered us acquaintances. She's tried to flirt with me before but I've shut it down and have told her numerous times that I'm married and to stop, so she has. Yesterday took the cake really. My office is in odd position, it's facing in a way where you can't exactly see who goes in. I was working and she came in and started asking me questions, nothing important, and just keeps going on and then asks about me. She started asking how my day was and if I was okay, and then did something that still seems unbelievable even now. I turned around to look for a file in my drawer and when I looked up she had her clothes off. Yes, seriously. I asked her what the duck was she doing and she told me I know you want me and tried to walk towards me. I told her to put her clothes and get out, and after trying to get her out she finally left. I'm really not sure what to do. Should I tell my wife? Should I just let it go? What should I do? Too long, didn't read. My coworker tried to seduce me. I didn't fall for it, but I'm wondering if I should tell my wife. Yes, absolutely tell your wife. If you tell her, you are nothing but a committed husband, who another woman wanted to sleep with but who was faithful since he loves his wife. Don't tell her and you're the husband who hid things from his wife. If she finds out later she'll likely wonder why you didn't tell her and whether it's because you're trickle-truthing her or you actually like this coworker, etc. Wow. I'm sorry that happened to you. In my relationship, I would absolutely tell my husband and he would tell me if something like this happened. It wouldn't raise any suspicion on our parts. If anything, if I didn't say anything and then a year later he found out about it, he would wonder why I didn't bring it up earlier. Also, honestly, this is romantic annoyment. I would absolutely tell my husband if I were being romantically annoyed at the office. This is a major life problem that he would want to know about and that I would want him to know about. We share our major life problems with each other. I would also, as recommended above, immediately file a complaint with HR. I guess my only rhetorical question is, you seem hesitant, or just unsure, to tell your wife. Why is that? You know your relationship better than we do. Are there other aspects of your marriage or this issue that concern you? Maybe the issue is whether those aspects need to also be addressed in the process of telling her about this. There's nothing wrong with our marriage, it's just I don't want to stress her out more. She's pregnant and takes care of 3 kids and has a lot on her plate. I don't want to add more, if that makes sense.